Hey guys, this is SynaMax here. I am going to show you a tutorial on how I make my Seinfeld remixes. They're the most popular thing on my YouTube channel, and I thank you guys so much for watching them. And a couple people have been requesting for the samples that I use as well as tutorials. So I figure I just do a quick one, and I'll have the download link for the samples. These samples I ripped personally myself. Um, Give you a little bit of backstory. The Seinfeld samples, the raw guitar sounds, slap bass sounds. I discovered they were on a Korg M1 synthesizer. So I downloaded the virtual instrument for the Korg M1 and ripped the samples directly from that instrument. So these are the raw samples. As you can see, it's got a nice long trail out there. So these are nice. I could hold out these notes for a very long time and have this nice trail out. It's a 4-second long sample, even though it's technically looped there, but I like that trail off. And then so we got that, and then from the ending of the song, I was able to rip the majority of the sound effects. So, getting those drop sounds and those vocal pop sounds, I have those here as well. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and make a song, a remix. Here I have Green Brine Star from Metroid. I love Metroid, so I'm going to go ahead and start adding Seinfeld bass to this. So what I do is I look at the song, make sure that, everything is doable. What I do is I grab both of the bass guitar sounds, and as you can see, I have them labeled G3 and G4. And so what I want to do is I want to key map these. So I'm going to go G3, and then I'm going to build this up to like C, and then drag it all the way down there. So that way this could play, and it won't play up here. And also, as you can see, they're all blending together there, all the notes. We don't want that, so we're gonna have to put some envelopes there. And put a little bit quicker release there. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just copy that. Replace the sample. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to grab a layer. Layers are really awesome because you could tell the instrument, hey, I want you to just control. You can control multiple instruments at once, so it's really useful in that regard. Okay, so if I were to grab the keyboard here now, you'll see it transition from the higher guitar to the lower guitar. So, cool. Now, all I have to do is just copy this layer for every track and then do the finer, minute modifications. So every time I duplicate the layer, it automatically copies the samples as well, so that's great. So, I think let's try it an octave lower. That sounds better. So a lot of it, it's not just ripping a MIDI and then slapping, just slapping Seinfeld guitars in there. It's a bit more complex if you want it to sound good, And you can see why I'm putting every two of the samples in with their own mixer here, because we're going to EQ all these guitars and make it sound good. If you just slap all the guitars in there, it's going to sound really muddy, not that good. So let's see here. Okay, and then let's grab the actual bass here. Okay. And okay, sounds nice and all, but we need a little bit more reverb in there, make it sound a bit better. So I'm putting in an ascend channel here, or reverb, and I'm cutting out all the dry, because we want just specific channels to go into the reverb, but we don't want the dry will duplicate our dry signal that we're sending from here to here. It's going to double up on the instruments. We don't want that. So then we're going to send it a little bit here. So let me go back to the beginning. slap a limiter here. Make sure we're not clipping. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to grab a sampler. And we're going to start grabbing those pop sound effects. Then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab the whole drum track. And I'm going to figure out like what's the best sounding one for each thing here. So that's going to be really annoying. That'll be good for a hi-hat. So let's see what's playing in the hi-hats here. Okay, so I'm gonna go for this paw one. I'm gonna go with this bottom one right here. It's got a nice, it's being used for the snare. And that's G2. So we'll go ahead and map this to G2. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I don't normally do this, but I really like the bongo sounds, or the conga sounds, or whatever percussive instrument that is, and I'm actually gonna map them. Um, um, I'm gonna have the sample play up the scale. Normally, I just lock it to just one note, but because there's a lot of percussion going on in this track, I'm actually gonna have it to do this little section. Now I'm gonna do some EQing to make the track sound just a little bit nicer. So yeah, I'm really liking it. So that is how I do a Seinfeld remix, and then all I have to do now is just make the graphic, slap the video together, and yeah, and then that's pretty much it. They're really easy to make. Sometimes, obviously, the vast majority of these songs famous songs have already been sequenced on the internet and have their own MIDIs. But a lot, sometimes if you have a game that's obscure enough, like how, if you guys follow my channel, you know how much I am how much of a huge fan I am of the original Mega Race game from 1993. And that game is obscure enough where the MIDI rips don't exist for that game, so I have to do the sequencing myself and stuff if I wanted to do a remix of that. So I'm totally okay with doing that. It's just this is nice and quick, and but it's not just slapping a MIDI on here in FL Studio and then just attaching Seinfeld guitars to it. It needs finesse. It needs EQing and compression and limiting, just to and a little bit of little splash of reverb just to make it pop, make it stick out from the rest. So I'm gonna go ahead and render this. Thanks so much for watching.